So today's the day I'm finally meeting the father of my stepkids. Am I nervous? Pepe, you know, kids, they know who's been there. Holy. I hope that's not him. Hey, you Dusty? Nope.
So first I want to know, who's the artiste that did the pictures in the opening credits?
Oh, God, I'm so glad you asked that, and I so wish that I had her name. It's funny because our prop people went and just they went to an actual service, like someone who does that for movies, and our thought was, oh, these are just going to be things that we'll have lying around, and we'll use at the beginning. But we thought when we do the actual sequence, we'll probably have someone else do it. But the pictures came back and we loved them so much that we ended up going back to, I never met her, but we went back to the same artist and
the title sequence.
And yeah, for the title sequence, and she sent in a bunch more and we just loved them. So.
I don't know if that's a good idea, Brad.
Remember, 1 down, 4 up. Dusty, everyone knows. 1 down, 4 up. 1 down, 1 down, 1 down.
So what's it like directing these two? Is there anything about them that makes them stand out, that you kind of know that they do best or they do differently that you have to adjust to?
Well, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, Will has a reputation in Hollywood as, I mean, for real, has a reputation as being the kindest movie star who's ever walked the planet. And you kind of hear that, but in Hollywood, everybody always has nice things to say about everyone. So you kind of wonder if it's true. And then you meet him and then you start to realize, oh my God, what they say about him is actually true. And what that does is that creates such a comfortable, warm vibe on the set that as a director you're so grateful for. And then Mark doesn't like to be in a situation where he's working. I mean, first of all, like he said, he hasn't done that much comedy, but he's really funny. But Mark feels really comfortable with Will because Will's not the kind of comic who's just out there just killing himself to score at every turn. I mean, he's super funny and he'll go to great lengths to get a laugh, but it's always honest to the character that he's playing. So I guess the thing is that Will makes Mark funnier, and then when Mark starts to get super funny, Will loves it so much that he gets funnier, and you see this dynamic play off, and it's amazing. So
They were definitely the perfect pair. I also read that Will initially was being considered to play Dusty, which I found very surprising. How would that role have changed if he went that route instead?
Well, some earlier drafts of the script, Dusty was a little crazier. He was a little more unhinged and a little more kind of. It went more to Dusty being a little bit of a lunatic. And so I think when the script first came to Will loves to play a great lunatic, and then just in the natural evolution of it, and when John and I got involved. One of the things that we were really specific about is that we wanted Dusty to just be flat out fucking awesome. That he's just great and he's cool and he's good at everything, and that because we wanted it to mostly be, what Brian had laid out initially really was all about insecurity. It wasn't about somebody coming in and driving someone else crazy. It was about the stepdad feeling insecure, of feeling like, am I good enough? Do I deserve to be a part of these kids' lives? Can I compete with this guy? Will had said the scene where the daughter asks Will to the daddy-daughter dance and Will cries. When we were shooting that scene, we were dying when we were shooting that scene, and I went up to Will and I said, I think this is my favorite scene in the whole movie. And Will said, it's funny you say that because this is the scene that made me want to play Brad, because he just loved the idea of being that guy who just can't keep it together when this adorable little girl is inviting him to the daddy-daughter dance. It's so sweet.
I could totally understand that. And some of the themes that you just mentioned are pretty adult themes. So I was kind of surprised when this movie came together and it was rated PG. Did you ever consider
PG-13.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If you Google Daddy's Home, I think PG.
It's been all over the internet that it's PG, but I hope people know, that it's PG-13.
We had to tone it back to get PG-13. We were R for a little bit.
Was there ever a point where you thought about going R? Because this really, it could have been an R movie, it could have been a family-friendly movie, and I could see it work both ways.
Well, no. I mean, and to clarify, when we were every movie needs to get toned back to PG-13. There's always something that they sort of pick that they go, oh, you can't do this or that. But no, we always wanted it to be, we always wanted to try to find that sweet spot where it could be kind of edgy and funny enough that people who loved Mark and Will and the other guys could still love this movie, and that your 25-year-old and his buddies could go see the movie and really find it very fun and hilarious, but also something that that could be shared with a whole family, because there's so much heart and it's such an unapologetically warm comedy that we wanted it to be something that families could see together.
The king raised his mighty sword, and he rained steel down upon the Step King.
But the Step King blocked it with his shield.
Step King was very upset because when the real king pulled out his sword, it was long and shiny.
All the maidens in the land preferred the more average size Step King's sword because it knew how to listen.
If you got your chance to do an R-rated director's cut, what of what you shot would make it in there that we didn't get to see on screen?
I don't know that we could really turn this into any kind of satisfying R-rated director's cut. I mean, it's not like we had like nudity in the movie or anything really. There wasn't like a ton of dick jokes or anything like that. You know, there was
There's
one
a shot of Dusty's cock.
Oh yeah, Dusty's, yeah. Well, there was about 11 of those that we had to.
How can you forget about that?
No, but actually there was one line that we had to change that from Linda Cardellini. It's in the movie, and it was just a take of the line. It was one of those weird ratings things where it was the line where Linda has her hand on Will and she says, oh, that's like all the other balls I've ever found or whatever. And we had to adjust that line into a pretty clunky sort of version of it, and it still gets a laugh, but I always liked it better originally. That was really the only thing I think we had to cut. That, in fact, it was funny, the woman at Paramount who deals with that stuff came back so excited because it's so unusual that they don't have to have this big battle with the ratings board, and they really only asked us to change, I think, that one thing.
Did we keep Will's butt? I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That was in his contract. We had he wouldn't do the movie if he didn't show a little crack.
Okay, who's got next? I do.
Honey, no. Come down.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Godspeed.
Oh, there's a zombie!
Ow! Ow!
Did you just punch me in the face, Brad?
Ow, yes.